Hello and welcome. Give everybody a few minutes to get the notifications and come on in. Give everybody a few minutes to get the notifications. Mute myself on my other phone so I can see the whole chat. And if you're just coming in, remember to set your chat to all messages to live chat. It's a top chat like I always forget to do. So I just did that. And yeah, so if you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome on in. We are going to go over, I'm not going to be on super late tonight because I am in production mode with my products that are going to come out. Hopefully they will be done by tonight or tomorrow, but they'll definitely be on the website tomorrow for Website Wednesday. So in the meantime, because we are a self-care and crime chat in here, we are going to go over the Alex Murdaugh case again. And there's been some new developments. If any of you have followed it, previously, the original case, he was found guilty for financial crimes and he was given 2 counts of murder. And since then, he has had his murder convictions vacated. He's still spending time for his convictions on the financial crimes, but he has now got the chance to be retried for the murder of his son and his wife. So we're still keeping up with the Lynette Hooker story and any new leads that are coming in. Hello, Truth Warrior. Welcome. So we haven't forgot about Lynette. We're still looking at the stuff for Nancy right now. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of watching the Nancy Guthrie case from the sidelines because I think it's just a huge circus over there right now, and I am absolutely disgusted at what I've seen. So that's where I'm just going to stay with that. So I will keep watching. I'm not going to show any of the garbage that's going on over there because I think it's ridiculous. And hi, Canvas. That's okay. I'll share my golf cart with you, girl. Oh, it's horrible, Truth. I literally saw one of them out there with a ski mask on the other night. It was just a thumbnail. I thought, I'm not. X is nothing but a huge fight. People getting called names. Nobody even knows what side they're on over there. I mean, it's just a mess. So, yeah. I would rather just wait and watch and see what happens factually with that. I keep watching Brian Enton. He's a great guy that really keeps up on that case, on just the facts. He's not into any of the drama or the BS. So yeah, that's where I stand with that. I'm just disgusted with that. And if you hear any creaking above, I am a mom and I am relegated to a little office in my basement, and we need to shim our floor. Apparently, I never realized that until I started going live on YouTube. So, with that being said, I do want to go over tonight. Alex Murdaugh has recently just filed. Not only has he gotten a retrial, which from what I'm hearing is going to be between the next 3 to 6 months. This trial will be happening. They'll be starting jury selection, etc. I know that there's some issue about finding unbiased jurors and finding, I believe they're moving its location. So, you can't, okay, yeah, no, it's teenager feet, so they're big old feet, size 12 and a half, okay? Those make some creaks. Although my little guy is just as loud, so I think it's just boys or kids, I don't know. But anyway, from what I have caught up on is that not only is he getting a new trial, but he's also now filing a civil lawsuit against Becky Hill, who was the clerk of court of Colleton County. She is the whole reason why we are here. And she is the reason why he's getting a new trial. But one of the things that I wanted to go over that I think kind of got lost in a lot of this is that one of the main beliefs that Alex was trying to get everyone to follow the path of was that whoever took Paul's life was most likely someone that was angry with him over a boating accident that had occurred. And it occurred with his friends. He had taken the boat out. He was drinking underage. He was using his brother's ID. They were asked to leave a bar. I believe it was called Parker's. I'm not positive, like Parker's on the Water or something like that. And we'll go through that too throughout the next couple of weeks here and there, because the attorney for her family, Mark Tinsley, is just, I love him. He took no BS. And this trial was really interesting to watch, the back and forth, because you saw so much more than just law going on with this. You saw a family that was, a legacy in that county. His great-great-grandfather was a judge. I mean, they had to literally take his grandfather's portrait, off of the wall in the courthouse before the trial started. That's how deeply woven this family was into the judicial system of that county and that area. And unfortunately, in the meantime, through all of this success, and now I by no means think that anyone deserves to lose their life for any reason, but, well, almost any reason, we'll say that. But they led a very privileged life. They gave their kids everything. We saw many, many videos of Maggie and Alex, both on their boat with all the kids, and everybody's drinking. And they're all young, they're all underage. But when you have that much, a lot of times there are no rules and laws for some, or they believe there are no rules or laws. And one of the things that is absolutely obvious to almost anyone is Paul was very spoiled, and he had an attitude, and he didn't get along with people because he thought his stuff didn't stink. And yeah, they did. They thought they were above the law, and it caught up to them. And this is what I believe started the catalyst of all of this. And I found a really cool video that was done by the Island Press, which is one of the news outlets out there. And I'm going to mute it because I don't know if there's no sound to it except for music. And I don't know if it's, copyright or anything like that. So this is about 2 minutes long. I'm going to play it at regular speed, but it explains the boat crash. And then I believe it was like a 2-week search for this poor little girl, Mallory Beach, who flew out of the boat. And no, I haven't. I'll have to check. I'm going to write that down. I have to find my pen first, then I'll write it down. I'll click play on this, and then I'll find my pen. But she was a sweet girl, and if you watched the documentary on, I believe it was Hulu, there's been a million of them, but where they interviewed the kids, these were good kids. The friends, they seemed to be good kids. And so you have a kid who has been spoiled to the max, who believes he has to answer to no one, who believes he can do whatever he wants, and he gets completely beyond wasted at a local bar using his brother's ID. When it was questioned, they get asked to leave. The rest of the kids didn't go in there because they didn't have IDs. They leave. They get on the boat. He then drives the boat and crashes it. And this little girl, because her and her boyfriend were in the front of the boat because he was driving erratically, she flies out along with 2 other kids. And it takes them like a week and a half, 2 weeks to find her because she floats away. They hit a bridge. I mean, it's horrible. So I'm going to play this, and then I will I'll try to read along, because they do have, what do you call it, like closed captioning on it already. So I'm going to add this to the stage first. This is Beaufort, South Carolina. This is Paul that they just showed on January 24th, 2019. Oop. A little bit fast for me, huh? On January 24th, 2019, leaving Luther's Rare and Well Done at 1:07 a.m. This is the bar. I'm sorry. This is the bar that Parker's may have been where they bought the other alcohol that they had. So, sorry, I had a kid come down. Now you see them. They're at the bar. Now that's Paul walking back. It's his girlfriend and two other couples. Cast off from the dock at Henry C. Chambers after an evening of drinking. An hour later, by way of the Beaufort River, the group enters Archer's Creek. Three of the boaters told police where people were located in the boat and who was driving. Paul Murdaugh was at the helm, which he denies, by the way. Paul's girlfriend, Morgan, was sitting on the cooler seat with Miley. Miley's boyfriend, Connor Cook, was moving to the side behind the center console. That is who Paul blamed for driving. And Mallory Beach and her boyfriend, Anthony, were at the stern. In Anthony's sworn statement, he and Mallory sat on the boat's deck because Paul's driving was erratic. Mallory sat on Anthony's lap. Okay, they're in the back. Okay. RC Berkeley Bridge. In 7 minutes, reaching speeds of nearly 30 miles per hour, the boat arrives at the RC Berkeley Bridge. It first strikes the dolphin pilings at 21 miles per hour, and for the next 33 seconds, at speeds ranging from 10 to 17 miles per hour, continues to hit pilings under the bridge before coming to a rest on the bank. Later, law enforcement learns that not everyone was thrown from the boat. Paul Murdaugh, Anthony Cook, and Mallory Beach were ejected from the boat. Mallory Beach was killed in the crash. Okay, so that is what started all of this, and this huge lawsuit that came to pass because of this. And this is the reason why they believe that Alex Murdaugh possibly decided to take out his son, and maybe Maggie was just he did not realize that Maggie was going to be there, or he knew that she would protect her son at all costs, and he took her out also. There was a huge lawsuit that was coming, and they were going to be digging into his financials, which meant they were going to find out all of these things about him. And that's not good. That was not good in his eyes, because then everything, all of his lying, all of his scheming, all of those things were going to be outed. The sham. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to find the video of him at the hospital. It's horrible. It's horrible what he did to those kids. So next I'm going to play, let's watch with me, is the statement that the attorneys came out with the other day. And so this is interesting because Not only is Alex Murdaugh getting a new trial, he's also now suing Becky Hill for his civil rights, which she screwed up. She screwed up big time. She's a liar. Oh, absolutely. The good old boy system. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Him walking in, he literally had a badge on in the hospital. I mean, come on. All right, so I'm going to push play, and then I'm going to run say night to my kiddo, and I'll be right back.
So will folks. Well, anybody? Any of the old faces here? Okay. A couple things. We have filed a lawsuit today. We're going to discuss that with you in just a minute. I'd hope that would have been the main topic of this press conference, but over the weekend we learned that the Attorney General has announced he's considering the death penalty in this case. Clearly, he is not talking to the lawyers in his office. He's probably talking to his political consultants who thought that was a good soundbite for his governor's campaign. The law is clear that he cannot seek the death penalty if it is due to vindictive prosecution. That is, and here's the question: what does he know today he didn't know 5 years ago? Why is he saying he's going to seek the death penalty? Is there some new piece of evidence? So we're a little sick and tired, and we've seen this process since the beginning of this case, where Alan Wilson plays politics as opposed to playing prosecutor. He's got great lawyers on his staff. He should listen to them, defer to their judgment. Coincidentally, he has not looked into the attempted jury tampering of Becky Hill. We're going to talk about civil suit in a minute, but clearly the statute says whoever tampers with a jury or attempts to tamper with a jury is guilty of a crime. Judge Toll's fact findings were clear. Becky Hill attempted. The Supreme Court last week, Becky Hill attempted. So please, Alan, focus on your job and not the politics. Now, having gotten that out of my system, let me turn this over to Jim Griffin, who's going to talk about the lawsuit that was filed this morning, and then Phil Barber and I will answer questions.
No, I will say, hi, Lovey Bugs. I do like Jim Griffin. I did like him in the trial, even though there's a part of me that felt like he knew in his heart.
Jim?
Kind of like an OJ situation.
Yeah, good morning. Today in the United States District Court, federal court, the Charleston Division, we filed a lawsuit on behalf of Richard Alexander Murdaugh Sr. versus Rebecca Hill. In this lawsuit, we file it under the Federal Civil Rights Statute, 42 United States Code 1983, to redress constitutional deprivation of rights. Those rights were Alex's right to a fair trial, a right that can be tried before an untampered, untainted jury. With the South Carolina Supreme Court's ruling, it has been adjudged as a matter of state law that she deprived Alex of his constitutional rights, deprived him of a right to a fair trial, and as a result, we've got to do it all over again, which nobody wants to do. The damages that we've alleged include the over $600,000 that was spent to try the first case and other compensatory damages. Now, let me be clear. Alex Murdaugh owes a lot of people a lot of money. None of this money that is recovered will go to him personally. And the purpose of this lawsuit is to hold Becky Hill accountable for what she did. She has not been held account at all for her conduct. And two is to investigate exactly what she did, which we'll be able to do through the course of civil litigation. We have subpoena power. We can take depositions. And so we're going to be able to understand the entire scope of her conduct. She's yet to be thoroughly investigated by the state, and she's not been held accountable by the state. And that's what we hope to do. That's what we intend to do. And that's what we will do with this lawsuit. Thank you. Bill, what you got?
I'll just amplify that and say that,
You hold it to the plaintiff.
Good. The jury process, the integrity of the jury.
Well, that's it. They say that they can't, but the prosecutor is still saying that they can. I've got another interview from him that I will play after this. So I don't know if this is just a peeing contest or what, but yeah, that confused me too.
The jury process was violated by somebody sworn to uphold it, and that's why we're here today, and that cannot go unanswered, as Jim said, and that's what we're going to do with this lawsuit.
I did not like him.
Beyond that, was alleged to $600,000 in damages. That's a public number, by the way. There was a receivership. That money was allocated from receivership for the defense. That was a waste because of what Becky Hill did, plus other damages alleged. And beyond that, we are going to find out exactly what happened. There'll be depositions, there'll be subpoenas, and she will be held to account for her actions.
Any questions? None? Okay.
Do you guys have any new evidence?
Well, we have. Where'd you go? Okay. we have received a number of pieces of information post-trial. Some of them came just to us. Some of that came just to us. Some of that went to SWED too, and we don't know what they did with it. You know, once the trial was over, we don't have the power to subpoena. We don't have the power to really investigate it all. All we did was, after the trial, was look into the jury misconduct, and we rode around Charleston County for a couple months through the swamp on the dirt roads to find these jurors and ask them questions. But once a judge is appointed, and I think we got an order on Friday that the Chief Justice has said, once the remitter is issued, which means right now the Supreme Court has the case, they got to remit it to a trial court, and he'll do that.
Well, hello, family apps. I just saw it on my phone. Yeah, I can't see the highs for some reason.
That we think in the next couple of weeks. So at that point, then we will have subpoena power. Then we will have the ability to investigate.
You know, with the new murder trial, how hard it is to find a long-term.
Well, let me say this to you. This has gotten extraordinary notoriety, unlike most other cases I've ever tried. But in its time, a case I prosecuted 40 years ago, Pee Wee Gaskins, Muck was there. Pee Wee Gaskins, we had to go through 400 jurors to get 14. It's important that we have what we want is individual voir dire. That means we individually question the jurors, which is not usually allowed in anything but a death penalty case. So we think we can get them. Now, can we get it in Carleton County? That's debatable, but and I think the state has the same interest, should have the same interest we have in finding 12 or 14 with alternates, impartial, fair jurors. The state should want an unsullied, uninfluenced jury as much as we do.
And if you talked to Alex recently, how did you feel about being over?
Jim talked to him this morning.
Yeah, we've talked to Alec a lot lately about many topics, including retrial and what that might look like. But to your specific question, frankly, when we reported back to him after our argument in the South Carolina Supreme Court, we told him it went as well as we could have hoped, and that we were very optimistic that we would get a favorable result. And he appreciated our assessment, but he was incredulous.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, yeah, it's hi Untamable, good to see you. I just turned off I forgot I had the background music on. We'll see if that works better, because it is a really quiet broadcast.
His experience has been, since he has been on the back end of civil lawsuits and criminal indictments, that he's lost every significant legal ruling along the way. And that occurred almost daily during the trial. And when he got the order, when I spoke with him, he had already read the opinion of the Supreme Court, and he says, "I'm reading it, I see it, it says reverse, but I still have a hard time believing it. It's really just sinking in." But he was very grateful, very thankful, and he thanked all of us here that are on this side of the podium. And he got somewhat emotional. He was so, and I don't think he'll mind for me telling you this. I mean, he has always said, and he told me very early, that he deserves to be in jail, prison, for the financial crimes that he committed. But he says, being in jail for something you didn't do is a hard thing to swallow, even though I'm here doing time for what I did do. But then he said, what I was convicted of is so reprehensible. It's something that is so heinous. And to be wrongfully convicted of that is almost unbearable, he says. And
So unbearable that he had an OnlyFans account. Remember that with the prison tablet? That was unsettling. Ugh.
So he is very thankful that he's no longer a convicted murderer of his wife and son, and he's appreciative to the court for applying the rule of law, regardless of outcome. They did their job, and we're all very appreciative of that. The rule of law won out last week.
Have you spoken to Buster? How does he feel about what happened last week?
So yeah, thanks for asking that question, and I want to say this: Buster Murdaugh is, hopefully we can all agree, is entitled to his privacy. That kid has been through so much, and that's all he wants is his privacy. So we're not going to answer questions about Buster, other than to say, and I'd say it with 100% confidence, that Buster supports his dad, Alec.
I also want to remind everyone that was something that we found out in the course of all of this other stuff with JLR, is that Buster had to get a restraining order. Buster and his girlfriend had to get a restraining order against him because he was harassing them and following them around and going to their home, and yeah. So, just a bunch of nonsense again.
With the civil suit, are you
Sure. Now, we were given some information through the discovery during the motion for new trial stage. Um, is that all they've done? I mean, we don't know. But if that is all they've done, that really wasn't much of an investigation. And we really don't think they've done much of an investigation, but we certainly plan to.
And let me say this.
Yeah, against JLR, Buster Murdaugh and his girlfriend. Yep. He was harassing, I think he was going to their home and like trying to look in windows or something like that. I'll have to find it again. There's like that Plunder's probably got the paperwork on her channel. But yeah. Hi Palm Queen, how you doing? And so I'm amazed when now that I look back and see all the cases that he wormed his way into. It's amazing. It really is.
There's also was a Freedom of Information Act served on SWED to get additional information. We've seen that too. Does it make sense to have the agency who has an inherent conflict, they want the conviction sustained, investigating whether it was valid or not? I mean, it just
Sorry, I can't remember. He's got a million restraining orders, and I bet Plunder's probably got the paperwork up there somewhere. But I'm amazed when I look back and see all the cases that he's gotten himself into. And I think it was this case, I watched it on Court TV, but I also watched it on either Ikadmel or Jay's. I can't remember who was streaming it, but yeah, I watched this whole thing. Oh yeah, definitely. And Buster being involved in the Stephen Smith stuff. They still can't prove it, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh come on. It's same thing like this. It's like, come on. They've been getting in trouble and hiding behind their family name forever.
seems ridiculous. And again, I think the Attorney General's fault is not asking for some independent. He could have gotten the Sheriff's Department to it. Leon Lott folks or the Sheriff up in Spartanburg, not Spartanburg, Greenville, have a very sophisticated Sheriff's Department. Charleston also. Use them. But SWED is invested in affirming the conviction. They don't want to find any fault. I mean, that's just human nature. So we think there's going to be plenty of things that weren't looked into. We want to look into those. And the question is, and Jim and Phil and I have been talking about this, did she do it alone? Did she have somebody help her with this? And if you were sitting in the judge's chambers like we were, when she brought in information on the jury you would call the egg lady, we called Myra Crosby, and listen to what she had to say. One time it was totally made up about some Facebook page. The second time, inexplicably a anonymous email came to the judge. We weren't told about it. It was investigated by the Attorney General's office and SWED without us being involved. No guardrails on that. But I mean, and call us naive because we were. We didn't press that. And I look back on it. We should have, with 2020 hindsight, we maybe should have taken a little more aggressive. But we still couldn't appeal that on you back then. But we will now.
Hey, a question about the retrial. Someone suggested that there may have been a mistake because the child was on the stand.
That is something though that makes me angry, is that this was not dealt with immediately at that. They're talking about this egg lady. And this egg lady was removed from the jury because Becky came into court, told Judge Newman that she had a Facebook page that she was posting about the trial on, or that her ex-husband was posting about the trial on. Come to find out, it wasn't true. It wasn't her, whatever. But they literally removed, and I remember the lady having to come back or asking having to have somebody go get her eggs, because she would bring in eggs to the jurors every day. So that was deemed so important that she be removed from the jury. But this with Becky, I don't know. I'm angry. the jury got the right decision, in my opinion. And to put everybody through this again, because one woman couldn't keep her mouth shut, who was writing a book that she plagiarized part of, by the way, and got in trouble for that. Just irks me.
Two things. One, the client makes that decision. Two, that'll be a game day call. So you'll know when we know.
When will any retrial take place?
I would suspect within a year of now, but not by the end of the year. No, hell no.
And why is that? Why can't you go right to
Well, I'll give you a couple simple examples. One, we assume the same witnesses will testify in the retrial as the trial. We have a, 8,000 page transcript. We've got to break out each witness. We've got to read it, whoever's going to handle that person, outline it, and they can be used to impeach them. So unlike, this is like a civil case where you've taken a deposition. Unlike any other criminal case you'll ever defend or prosecute. So that takes time. We've got to go back and see if they've given us all the discovery. There's some inference that we didn't get everything from the prosecution. We've got to go back and scrub that real hard. We've got to hire experts. They've got to look at all the information, new experts, and then give us an opinion.
See, that's what I feel like too. I feel like it was fair. I feel like they gave him the chance. And we're going to go over the testimonies in the next couple of weeks because, you know, for anyone that didn't see it, I'm amazed that there's a lot of people that don't know a lot about this case and that didn't hear some of the testimony. And the biggest one that I'm saving, and if you watched this with me before, is Alex's testimony. I mean, I wanted to throw up watching that. It was just disgusting. And this Putin, whatever. No disrespect. I don't know how to I've never been able to pronounce his last name, but I felt like there was a lot of politics in with it when he came into this, but it was really interesting watching this jury. Oh, Judge Newman was, and he had just lost his son when this trial started, and for him to be able to sit up there and do his job, and I think that he was kind to Alex. But when it came down to it, his statement, about him, thinking about them in the middle of the night, that just, it hit me right in the heart.
have enough money to hire new experts?
Jim, why don't you explain financially how this works? I think he's got a much better explanation for this than I do. Go ahead.
Yes, the state will pay for it, right? The state will pay for it.
I mean, there is no new money, no found money, and I've said previously, we got paid to do a job. When you do criminal defense work, one way you charge by the job. Sometimes you come out ahead, and sometimes you come out behind. But right now we're in the hole, but we got paid to do a job, and we're going to see it all the way through.
You're saying the job isn't finished yet.
Job is not finished yet, and we're not walking away from it. So we're going to see it through.
And that I still am wondering about that because we all know there's no there's not like a flat fee attorney unless you're doing something usually like civilly, whatever. Okay. Something like this. There's billable hours. There's time. There's experts. There's plane tickets. There's hotel rooms. There's all that. There's depositions you're paying for. Like, there's no way. I mean, how in the world? These got to be some best friends, okay? Or he's got something on somebody, or the family does, because the amount of money that this is going to cost to go through all of this again is just mind-boggling.
That's where we are.
Is there any chance a retrial could happen in Richland County instead of Pelican?
One of the things that we're looking at is a motion to transfer venue to a different county.
Exactly.
It would have to be, if that takes place and it's transferred, it'd have to be in a county that has a very similar demographics as Colleton County. So that would probably exclude Richland County, Charleston County, which I know all of y'all want to go to Charleston.
But it is Charleston. It is contiguous to Colleton, and one of the factors to be considered. Just saying.
And so, it's not our pick, but that'll be looked at very closely for sure.
Since we found out new evidence in our last case, we mentioned DNA evidence under Maggie's fingernails.
Right.
Connected to a nail. Can you go into that a little bit more and how that will play a factor in this retrial?
Well, we pointed out during the last trial that they did find a unknown male DNA who's not related to any Murdaugh or any of Maggie's family under her fingernail. That was.
Yeah, but we've also always wondered if he had any help. Cousin Eddie swing by that night by any chance?
Not really followed up on. We asked, did they follow up on that? before the last trial. We don't have possession of that DNA, so we can't do anything with it. We can perhaps, with a new case, back to square one, go and seek an order from the court to compel them to send it off to CODIS. CODIS is the national DNA database. So, I mean, if we were in charge and we had the facilities, the forensic lab, they had the SLED, and we had search warrant abilities, we would have done things a lot differently and more timely. A lot of the opportunity is lost, and so that's unfortunate.
Hi, Tammy.
Well, it'll be Chief Justice Kittredge issued an order last week saying he's going to appoint a new judge once the remitter goes down. And that'll be one of the things that we will present to a new judge asking for that relief. Whether he or she will do it remains to be seen.
You said the lawsuit is about holding Becky Hill accountable and also investigating. You said the state didn't do a good enough job of investigating her. What do you hope that investigation could yield?
The truth.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, just, we don't have a result in mind, but we have a lot of questions that we would like answered. Was she a lone wolf? Was she doing it just for the, siren of celebrity, which
I think I was muted. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you, hon.
she definitely was. And then I'll tell you, this removal of the egg lady juror is very suspicious. And that really wasn't a part of the case. We do make it a part of our complaint. We point out all of the inconsistencies of what she said, reporting to Judge Newman that the egg lady, Ms. Crosby's ex-husband.
This is what I'm talking about. The egg lady, Miss Crosby. It was weird. And it I don't know. Would she have been somebody that maybe Becky saw was going to speak out about something that she said?
He told me very early that he deserves to be in jail, prison for the financial of outcome. They did their job, and we're all very appreciative of that. The rule of law that Buster supports his dad, Alec. It's something that is so heinous, and to be wrongfully convicted of that is almost unbearable, he says. And on Maggie's phone, instead, it said some time. I mean, the way she was targeted, it just removal of the egg lady juror is very suspicious, and that really wasn't a part of the case.
Sorry about that. I bumped the button. I found us again though. Yes, and Betty bought a frog. She brought one of Maggie's frogs. Yep. Yes, Palm Queen. I forgot he bought something too. You're right. Because they were in the documentary. You could see, I think they said something. I think they talked to Betty in the documentary. If I remember correctly. Like, it was just a quick, where she said, yeah, I just wanted to come and see or something like that. Now I've got to watch the documentary again.
We do make it a part of our complaint. We point out all of the inconsistencies of what she said, reporting to Judge Newman that the egg lady, Ms. Crosby's ex-husband, had posted something on Facebook, which we now know was a bald-faced lie, or someone lied to her. I mean, it makes no sense. And if you have questions, and I would encourage all of you to follow up with Joe McCullough, who represents Myra Crosby, who is investigating this as strenuously as we intend to do so. And he's been working on it for quite some time. I mean, the way she was targeted, it just is very curious, and we hope to get to the bottom of that.
Is there any possibility of taking a plea deal for a lesser charge?
Say again?
Is there any possibility of taking a plea deal for a lesser charge?
No plea deal. No, never will plead guilty. Off the table. You want to?
Hey, no worries here, Tammy. I talk like that even without an adult beverage, so.
Trial.
Yeah.
They can dismiss them.
Yeah, they can dismiss these charges, but he'll never enter to a plea which requires some admission that he did something he didn't do, and that's murdering his wife and son. I mean, that's not gonna happen.
Who do you think did kill Maggie and Paul?
We wish we knew. We think we could have found out if we had the tools available. I mean, that opportunity was lost when they failed to
Hi, Nadia. Good to see you, girl.
follow the tire tracks in the grass, leading away from the murders of Maggie and Paul. That opportunity was lost when they failed to maintain the integrity of the GPS data on Maggie's phone. Instead, it was at SLED, downloading GPS coordinates at SLED that ultimately overwrote where her phone was and when it was on the night of the murders. And when they finally get into Maggie's phone and able to access the GPS data, you know where it said that phone had been last? Broad River Road, SLED Lab.
Now, I remember the phone data being different because that was how they found out that it didn't do anything until it was thrown to the side of the road where it was found. No worries, lovey bug. Have a good one. Thanks for popping in, doll.
I mean, that is outrageous that was allowed to happen. So, John, we've gotten a lot of information. People are out there working on behalf of Alec for free. kind of like we are, and they've unearthed some really interesting stuff, and they turned a significant amount over that to SLED. We'll be curious to see if SLED has done anything with it or will do anything with it.
If any of that investigation now goes back to the house property, was that
But there's nothing that I'm aware of that's of evidentiary value on the property.
Let me just jump in and say that the actual scene has been destroyed, right? It's been torn down. The property's been sold.
That's another thing too. And I don't know if you heard me. I think I was still muted. Thanks for stopping in, Lovey Bug. Oh yeah, okay, you heard me. All right. Thanks, girl. Get some rest and we'll talk to you later. But this property doesn't even look like it did beforehand. The dog kennels have been torn down. It's new owners, all of that. So, I think that in that first trial, that was something. Hi, Gina Tay. Good to see you. I'm glad you caught me. This was definitely something that I thought was quite powerful for the jurors to walk through and actually see where these things occurred and could picture in their mind these people having their lives taken, and how easy it was for Alex to be the one riding through on a golf cart, is what I believe, on his cart with his shotgun. Remember the shotgun that nobody could find, too, by the way? That was possibly believed to have been removed by Buster and the brother, like that next day or the day after. Yeah.
Kennels, all of that are gone, so that's no longer in existence.
But our experts, in preparing for the first trial, did all kinds of forensic tests on the crime scene. We put in evidence that if somebody could be in the house and shots fired down at the dog kennel, never hear them. I mean, we proved that without any contradiction whatsoever. So the story that he was up at the house and he had to have heard a shotgun and an AR, not. We had an expert run test. Can't do that anymore. So the uncontradicted evidence is going to be, if he was in the house, he wouldn't have heard the shots. So, I mean, it's those kinds of things. And we've got measurements. I mean, very, very, very specific measurements on where everything was,
Which I also never believed that theory either, because I don't know. I live in an area where there's lots of hunters, and we hear shotguns from miles away. So I can't believe that he wouldn't have heard something, maybe not realize that it was on his own property, but then later on say, hey, oh my gosh, I heard that. That must have been when it happened. And I'm hoping we'll get to see more evidence. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm wondering, like, I'm hoping certain things won't be left out now, because of that, with this new judge and everything. That always bothered me. And also remember the video to Paul's good friend whose dog he was taking care of at the kennels. And you can hear Alex in the background. Well, oh, yeah. Well, I lied about that because I didn't want you to think that. Yeah, you didn't want us to know what you did.
by the way, SLED did not do. The night of the murders, as they processed, it may not be SLED, maybe local law enforcement. They didn't dust for fingerprints in the feed, not dust, they don't do that anymore, but they did not process the feed room for fingerprints. They didn't look for DNA. Is there a hair? Let's pick it up and get it tested. There was a bloody footprint right next to Paul's body. It was a Carlton County Sheriff's deputy foot. I mean, I'm not a big CSI fan, but this looks to me like they violated every basic rule. We had a witness testify to that. So they got a lot of explaining to do.
What do you think the odds are of Alex getting an acquittal in the retrial?
You, John Monk, are playing those internet betting sites too much. I have no idea what his chances are.
Them at all.
Well, you ought to try.
What do you think the odds are?
We have no idea. I mean, we don't predict football, basketball, or trials.
Just following up on what Dick said about the failures. During the trial, you'll remember SLED explained how they do murder investigations, and they throw an imaginary circle, and an imaginary circle that they drew here, Alec was in the middle of it, and he was in the middle of it from the night of the murders. And they knew that Alec left Moselle and went to his mother's house at Almeda, and then came back to Moselle and found his wife and son murdered brutally. And do you think for 1 minute that they should have gone to Almeda, to see if there's anything of evidentiary value? Were there murder weapons at Almeda, which they want to intimate, during the trial? Oh, he parked over here, so he must have got rid of the guns over there. I mean, they had the opportunity to exclude Alec from that circle, but they didn't do it because they just failed so miserably in what their jobs were.
Let me say one other thing that brings to mind. As most of y'all know, I was a prosecutor for 12 years, and this is 40 years ago. If body was found and they wanted to determine time of death, the coroner or a medical examiner would take an anal thermometer and get a core body temperature, then take a thermometer and get the ambient temperature. And in this case, alleged an hour and a half prior they'd been killed, sort of. The coroner showed up and he did something just amazed me. He took his hand and he stuck it under Paul's armpit, and then that same hand took it under Maggie's arm, stuck it under Maggie's armpit, and he could calculate the time of death based on that. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, folks.
Now, that's something that interested me too about this. I had never heard that before. And everything that I remember, I mean, it's been years, but that their forensics seem to be pretty much on point as far as when this happened and the conditions of the bodies when they found them, the trajectory of shots, all of that. I mean, so yeah, it will be interesting.
Stuck his hand under the armpit? Really? And yet, then they said, oh, well, we know when Maggie stopped using her phone and Paul stopped using his phone, that's the time of death. They ignore the fact that cell phone service down there was spotty at best.
Right, I'm sure that if you've done this a million times, yeah, you probably can. But I wouldn't think that a law enforcement agency at a scene that was definitely, obviously, an unaliving, that they wouldn't make sure that they did all the forensic things like take core body temperatures, follow certain things. This obviously wasn't self-inflicted.
A number of people testified there was no cell phone service. So simply because they weren't using their phone doesn't mean they were dead. I mean, this thing has more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
In your opinion, what ultimately did that?
I think 2.5 weeks of that of widows and orphans and mentally disabled kids testifying.
Yes, all those weeks of that to show what kind of person he was and how afraid he was that all of these were coming down on his head. And from what I remember, the pattern of phone use was showing that they were constantly on their phones and that all of a sudden they weren't. And they did have signal out there, I thought. So now I'm interested to re-go through some of this to either prove or debunk some of the stuff that he's saying.
Not that he stole their money, but how just maliciously he stole the money, how he lied to them. When they finish with that, they're not going to believe forensic evidence. They're not going to believe him. They're not going to believe anything because he was so vilified.
And when he testified, the jury was programmed not to believe him by the clerk of court. And so, no matter what he said, he got on the stand to answer, questions about where he was and what he did that night. And we know now that, as the Supreme Court accurately described, she sought to undermine his credibility before he even testified it. Understand, she's the second highest ranked court official in the trial. And she has closest contact with the jury, develops close relationships with them over 6 weeks. And, she is the one that they see more, she's the elected official. She summoned them all in. Her name's on the summons. Her name's on the check that they get to payment every week for serving on the jury. And this person is back there in the jury room telling them in so many words, don't believe Alec when he testifies. Don't believe the defense. Don't let them confuse you. All of that happened at the end of the trial right before we put up our case. So that is one reason we got convicted up front.
You mentioned new evidence. You already addressed this, I apologize. But you mentioned new evidence that you're going to bring out. You mentioned DNA found under Maggie's fingernails. Is there other new evidence?
Well, let me say this. If there is, we tell you, you're going to, I know you're not doing this intentionally, but you'll be telling them. So I don't think we tell you. How about that? Maybe not unintentionally, but never mind. Anything else?
Do you think that Becky's done this with other trials before down in Carlton County?
Well, you don't know, do you? That's why this lawsuit is so important, because it's going to allow us to peel the onion on her and what she's done on this case with other people involved, which she's a lone wolf. Has she done it on other cases? But certainly, it was a despicable act, and the Supreme Court found it to be such. Anything else? Thank you very much for coming today.
This issue.
Oops, I did it again. This is the case of Alex Murdaugh. He was convicted of taking the life of his son and wife after basically he was on the verge of being found out for a bunch of financial crimes, for a rug addiction, and he was about to be sued in a big lawsuit for the death of Mallory Beach in a boating accident where his son was drunk driving the boat. Thank you. Thank you, Truth. I forget to say that all the time. No, I watched something on them the other day. That fits news. Yeah. Oh, is that who it is? I didn't know that was Mandy Matney. Okay. I didn't realize that was the same person. I did see something from them the other day. But yeah, I'm just amazed that this is, it's, well, not amazed. I'm saddened that we're here again and that this all has to be brought out. And, oh, okay. Well, it was Fitz. It was a Fitz News video that I watched. Can't remember which one it was. I've watched so many. I've been going over this. I had a migraine the other day, so I didn't watch anything. And then when I got up the next day, I started watching this and some of the stuff with Annette Hooker, and I saw this press conference. Oh, wow. Wow, Gina Tay. I will definitely check them out even a little bit more deeper. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. And that's just it. That's the name of the channel. Here, I'll put it up. You might, oops. Just a second. There, I'll show. I forgot I got 2 streams going, so you guys can't all see each other's comments. Yeah, Fitz News local. It's a local journalist in South Carolina covering this Murdaugh case. And wow. I believe it. There was that the case with the deputy that shot the sheriff, or I mean the judge. That's all come out with all the trafficking and all the, the abuse of all those women. And I think so too, Truth. I think so true. That's, the other day I had said, I put on my thumbnail, be careful what you wish for. And this may not be that good for him. And he's already has to serve, I think his sentence was like 40 years for the financial crime. So he's got to be in there anyway. But I believe it. We've got all this stuff coming out with Epstein and with all these powerful people, and with the, like I said, we've got the deputy and the judge. And I missed you too, Tammy. I have not been. I was, like I said, I was sick. I was gone out of town Sunday, and then yesterday I told everybody I wasn't probably going to be live on Monday just because I had a bunch of stuff to get taken care of. But oh man, I woke up with one of those headaches that felt like my jaw was broken. I mean, it just, my entire face, my head, my neck, everything just, ugh. And I don't like taking my migraine meds because they make me kind of sleepy. But I was in so much pain. I'm like, all right, that I might as well do it now and then sleep for a little bit before my little guy woke up, and then maybe I'd be better. So I did that. I woke up. It still was there. And so I finally said, forget it. And I grabbed a couple Excedrin, which, remember, were you in here, Truth, when that person came after me because I took Excedrin? They said I was mentally unstable. I mean, I am, but not because I took Excedrin, Oh, I'm sure. I was just going to say, I'm sure it crosses all states. And wouldn't it be interesting to find out that they were in cahoots with that same judge that got his life taken by the sheriff. Because that's what they talked about, is taking these girls, and just, oh my gosh. It's disgusting what some of these people that have all this money and power think is okay. And that you can just hurt people for no reason. Well, it is. It's the Epstein, the Puff Daddies, that people are just toys to them. And oh yeah. Well, and that's it too. My teenager was being extra teenagery all last week and this weekend too, so that didn't probably help. Thank you. I will. I'm not gonna be on here much longer. I've got a couple things to finish up before I go to bed, and then I'll be in bed. And it's almost summer vacation, so as long as I can get to summer vacation, which is, I think we've got about 3. I need to look at the calendar. I think it's like 2, 3, like 3.5 weeks left, so we're almost there. But it's just disgusting how some of these powerful people, they could do so much good in the world, they could help so much people, and they use their money and their power basically to get their own rocks off, whether it comes to illegal substances, illegal people, children. And, I've talked about this a lot with friends, and it's one of those things where I think, like, a lot of times in my life, I have sat down and thought, oh man, I wish I were rich. I wish that all my problems would go away. But you know what? It's absolutely not true. It's about the person that you are. Because I think sometimes when people get so much money, I think it shows proof with, again, the Puppies and the Epsteins and the judges and the all these powerful people that run our world, and that once you get everything that you want, nothing makes you happy anymore. You have to keep going harder and harder and harder. And it's just, ugh. Oh, that's sweet, Tammy. Aw. Yeah, my son never cried. My oldest never cried about missing his teachers. As soon as school got out, he was done. But now he does, now that he's, my oldest is 16. He's in high school, and there are certain teachers he really misses during the summer. So, he always makes sure when he goes for orientation that he gets to, those are the first ones that he runs into the school and sees. And my youngest, we're getting everything set up to have him tested. So, oh, that's sweet, Truth. Exactly, Untamable. I'd rather do that. That to me sounds like a much happier, easier life. And I don't understand. It's not just even rich people. I don't understand all these people that are out in the world to just hurt people. Come back to JLR. I was reading something else about him today. And I know I said I wouldn't talk about him. I'm not giving him the time of day, but it bothers me. His entire life has literally been about taking advantage and hurting people for his own gain. Well, and the things on earth, that's just it, though. They're not going to go with you. My dad always said that, Enjoy your life. Enjoy the people around you, because all of this stuff, quote unquote stuff, none of it's going to go with us. There's a much better promise for us if we just do it right while we're on earth, and we just treat people with kindness and caring and love, and that's just it. Kids are born completely innocent and free of any decisions, of any opinions, of any judgments. And we're the ones that mold them into the grown-ups of the future. And I was talking with somebody on the phone the other day, and they had been watching some of the drama streams, and they were talking about that this particular person that they were watching was saying something about, why are kids so mean? Why are blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that? And then the next 10 minutes went on to just completely destroy someone else. And mind you, this person's kids were in the room when they were doing that. And thought, yeah, we're the ones teaching them how to treat people. We're teaching them what's important. And in my house, things are not important. People are important. That's something I try to drive home to my boys all the time, is that there are going to be times in your life when you have nothing as far as things. But if you got a couple good people around you, and oh, that's so sweet, Untamable. That's so sweet. That's a good kid. Exactly, they are. They're taught by who. It's, what do they say? Do as I say, not as I do. It doesn't work that way. We have to be good people in front of them. And like, perfect example, my 16-year-old, who is terrified of driving, by the way, so we don't do it that often. We're trying to work him up. He's got his permit. That's all he wants. And I'm okay with that. Believe me, I'm okay with that. But we were in the car the other day. I was driving, and somebody cut us off and honked at us for no reason, just being a jerk, And he's in the passenger side going, why didn't you say something to him? Like, not me. I mean, he was getting upset with the person, not me. And I'm like, because it's not worth it. It's not my, it's not my responsibility to teach that person a lesson. And it's not worth my energy to be mad at somebody who literally was part of my world for 5 seconds, and they're gone. They're gone. I had a friend ask me the other day about like people on the internet, and how do you not care when people come in and say, junky stuff, or they make fun of you or something? Because I don't care. They don't matter. If someone is going to come and say something horrible to me in my chat that doesn't know me, that doesn't care about me, that doesn't help me in my trials and tribulations of life, then why do I care? It means nothing. It's a very scary place for the kids to be. And we're really, really strict about the internet in our house. And this was months ago, there was an article that came out of Australia that I believe it was it about TikTok? I think it was about TikTok, and the kids under 18, I believe, weren't allowed to have a TikTok. And I don't see a big deal with that, okay? I mean, I'm not walking around telling anybody else what they should do, but I said something someone had put a post up and asked, how do you feel about this? And I said that, yes, it did not upset me, because I don't really see the value in a young kid having a TikTok. I don't. It doesn't add anything to their life. It brings in a bunch of people that you don't know. The internet's an open door into your home, pretty much, especially when it comes to kids. And when I was a scout leader, that was something that we really drove home to our boys. And every single year we did cyber training, which was learning about how to keep safe on the internet and how to not talk to people and how to not let things that people say hurt you. There are kids taking their lives because a stranger on the internet who doesn't have anything better to do and literally is probably one of the most disgusting people on earth, that if you walked up to them or near them in a store, you'd walk away with that look on your face, okay? They're the ones saying junk to you. It is not the beautiful woman calling you fat on the internet. It is not the handsome guy calling you ugly on the internet. It is not the rich person calling you poor or calling you a loser on the internet. It's not. It is the people that are ugly. It is the people who have no value to this world. It is the people who know that they're literally stealing oxygen from other people. Those are the people that say that stuff about people for no reason that they don't know. And it's just, it's a hard lesson to learn, but you know, I got bullied horribly as a kid. And so it really toughened me up. And I realized one day, all of a sudden, I'm looking in the mirror and I thought, I don't look like that. The person that called me ugly today is literally one of the most ugliest people I've ever seen. Would I ever say that to her face? No. Because yes, the people with ugly hearts, I don't have an ugly heart. I may not be a beauty queen, and I may not be skinny, and I may not be rich, but I have a roof over my head. I have food on my table every night. Is it lobster and steak? No. Is it mac and cheese and hot dogs a lot of nights and grilled cheese and, spaghetti? Yeah, that's what's going on in my house. And homework and fights with a teenager who I know really down deep loves me, even though he says he can't stand me. He loves me. I know he does. It's dealing with my little one and trying to teach him to navigate, to growing up in our house, growing up in the world. It's, and that's just it. Yeah, to be the parent. And that's what I've always told. I told my oldest, I told his friends, you know where we live? You're welcome. If you need help, call me. If you need to talk to your parents, call me. I'll help you. Well, I'll do it because I had adults around me like that when I was that age. And oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Tammy. Hey, Doug, what's up? But it just is not. Hey, Sue. Oh, thanks, sweetie. I try. I'm not perfect, and I get mad, and I say things I shouldn't. And I have been the person, giggling about something that I didn't think about afterwards. Probably maybe would have hurt that person if they knew, or, but see, that's it too. There's no attention. Everybody's sitting on a phone or on a tablet, and no, and again, that's something else I'll admit. I mean, I'm sitting on a computer right now, and I've got my phone and I've got my apps, and, and I just think, this was a couple weeks ago. I'd taken the boys out to dinner because I try to do little like dates with my boys when driver's off, working. And we went to the boys' favorite restaurant, and we were sitting there, and I will let the boys watch like their tablet or their phone, like sometimes until dinner comes. But now my oldest, he's high functioning. He has autism. He's high functioning, but he has many, many sensory disorders. So he has to wear his headphones a lot of times when we go out, and his tablet in therapy became a calming device, and he'll listen to music or something like that on that. And thanks, Sue and Tammy. Thank you. And exactly, untamable. But we're sitting there, and I looked over across the way, and my little guy and I were watching it was like a counting video, and we were counting the count basically count to 100 and then name the different colors. And I looked over, and as we were doing that, my oldest he kept, telling talking to us and kind of laughing at what his little brother, at some of the stuff that, you know, he was doing. And so he was still engaging with us. And but I looked across the way and there was a family and there were 6 people sitting at this table. And every single one of them was just completely enamored in their phone. And I just thought, how sad that, and it was teenagers and their parents, and I just thought, how sad. There was an opportunity there that every single one of them are missing, to be just updating each other on their lives. And I want my kids to know, no matter what I'm doing, you can always come talk to me. That whole table just felt so shut off. And they all ate their dinner staring at their phone. And they got up and all, you know, mom and the kids walked out to the car. And dad went and paid the bill. And that's another thing too. My kids, if we take them out to dinner, always tell us thank you. I didn't hear one of that from those kids. And especially Driver. If Driver's going to take us out to dinner, he works 14 to 16 hours a week. He works hard for the money that is used to take care of all of us. And I'm just, we're pretty old school around here too. Well, we are. And, you know, a perfect example was I used to work with a girl at a salon, and this was years and years ago, and she's all grown up now. She's a mom and everything, and she's married, but she was having trouble finding a guy. She was and, you know, she would go out on dates, but she'd say, I'm so nervous. I don't like to talk to them. She had a lot of kind of, just weird anxieties that she would talk herself up about before she'd go out on a date or something. And we kept telling her, like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Or she would pick these guys apart. Like, well, I didn't like his cologne. Okay, you know what? That can be changed. Because the minute you start dating him, well, and at their age, they were in their 20s. As soon as especially if you start a romantic, relationship, all you have to do is buy them this cologne. Like, oh man, I smelled this today and I instantly thought of you. That's going to be their cologne for the rest of their life. Okay. There's things like that to me didn't mean that someone wasn't boyfriend or husband material, but she started talking with a boy that she had gone to school with and had reconnected with. He was in the Army and he had been deployed for a year. And they were talking back and forth through text. And when he came home, he was all excited because they were finally going to get to go on a date. And she started freaking out. And we're like, what? And she's like, I don't want to go. Well, why not? You're literally talking about and they were literally talking about getting married and having children. And that, you know, that it would be nice because he had this one like overseas deployment, and chances were he was going to get to be stationed somewhere in the United States. So, you know, yada yada. I mean, and this guy, we even got to talk to him in the salon on the phone because he could, you know, his job is a little more important than ours. So we had to wait. You know, he would call, and that's when she had to talk to him or text him. So he gets home on leave. And they had this big date. And she comes she comes into work the next day, and she's just in a kerfuffle. And she said, we had nothing to talk about. And I'm like, what do you mean you had nothing to talk about? What about all the things you have been talking about for literally a year? But that was it. They talked through text message. And when they got in front of each other, she had no idea what to do because she had never sat down and had a conversation with him. And here, a week ago, they were in love and talking about getting married and where he would be deployed. And now she has nothing in common with him and can't talk to him. But she was one that was always on her phone. Always. And she ended up telling him she couldn't go out with him anymore. And then she met another guy who used to come into our salon, and he was an EMT. And this guy was awesome. If I had been 10 years younger, I would have snapped him up. He actually, even funny enough, after they broke up and he came to a salon that I worked at and told me if I ever was in the mood to let him know, and he'd take me out for a drink. And I should have, because 10 years probably wasn't that. Well, no, I shouldn't have, because then I never would have met Driver, and I never would have had my little guy. So, but yeah. And that was the thing is, so exactly, Sue, they lack those social skills because they don't, you don't use it, you lose it, And so this next guy, same thing. They used to talk on Facebook all the time. And he would come in and get his haircut and say, I don't get it. He says, we talk all day long on Facebook, on Messenger, on text. And then I go to pick her up at night and we go out to dinner and she doesn't say a word. Or I bring takeout to her house to watch and she doesn't say a word. And then, and I remember this is kind of funny, but she really thought a lot of herself. They finally had their first, sexy night, and it wasn't great. Well, how often, I think you're pretty lucky, especially being with someone for the first time, if it's perfect. And she kept saying, oh, he was horrible. He was horrible. And we're like, what do you mean he was horrible? And all the things that she was telling us really didn't sound like a him thing. It sounded more of like a her thing. And I believe this was her losing her V card. Okay. And she kept going on and on and on to even clients about how bad this guy was. And it was making me angry because he was a really nice guy and he was a client of ours and would come in there. And you don't do that, Backroom talk's one thing, but bringing it out onto the salon floor is another. And I was cutting the hair of a client who knew this guy, and he kept hearing her talk. And I finally said to her, I said, how do you know that he was the one that was bad? Because again, this was her first time. And she stopped and she looked at me and she turned beet red. And she said to me later, why'd you say that to me? I said, because you can't talk about people like that. But see, she had no filter. She had no social. She didn't get it. You don't talk about people like that. And it is totally different being in person. And when you don't have those people skills, and yeah, you don't have those people skills. You don't grow. You stay this little child, this little, and I don't know. I always felt bad for him. But he ended up meeting a beautiful girl, getting married, and having, I think they have 2 children now. So apparently he wasn't that bad, right? Right. But yeah. I still remember she had rainbow hair. And I hated it when she'd make me touch it up because then my fingers were stained rainbow and that was horrible. But let me catch up on chat. I was just talking away. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's horrible truth. The system is screwed. It is. You see so many children who need help and they're just not getting it. Oh, that's so sad. Oh no, I'm a fast reader. I did the Oh yeah. That happens at I went through the McDonald's drive-through the other day to get my Coke Zero, and the girl at the window, well, the first girl that took my order was just really rude. And then the second girl, like I said hello, and she just stared at me, like slammed my pop in my hand. And then I said, okay, thank you, have a good day. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah. And I thought, okay, like I never in a million years would have done that at my job to a customer, ever. And my parents didn't have to tell me not to do it. And my boss didn't have to tell me not to do it. I just knew it, and I don't know. Or when I pulled up before and where were we at? We pulled up somewhere and the girl was at the register on her phone. You could see her texting and I'm sitting there like, hello? I mean, like, can you put your friends down, No, you did good. I understand what you're saying, Truth. You did. It's not, there's no comment. I think we have lost common sense, and some of us, not all of us. Pretty much everybody that comes in here has common sense, but people in general have lost common sense, and they've lost the ability to laugh at themselves. And sometimes life is funny. Sometimes you just can't be so serious and so stressed out all the time. It's just not worth it at all. Well, and that's it too. You don't see, that's one thing about, and now that's something. I had a really good afternoon today with my teenager that's been being teenagery. He loves trains. He loves them. Everything about him. When we go to train displays, museums, anything like that, this kid literally knows more than the people that work there about the train that they're talking about. And it amazes me. And today, and I put up a video, I went live earlier for like maybe 5-6 minutes earlier today because we had something really neat happen in our town. We had the Pierre Marquette, which is the real Polar Express. It's the Pierre Marquette 1225 steam engine. And it's still in commission. It still runs. And we got to, I should show it here. I didn't think about that. That's my video. I can show it to whoever I want. Let's see. Let me find it. But we got to watch that. And it was coming from Saginaw where it was there for some kind of gathering. And then it got to take a ride on a historic turntable. And it was so cool to see. And no, I haven't gotten to watch those today yet, so I was going to save that for tomorrow. We only did Alex Murdaugh tonight. So let me... But it was a nice, so the train came through our town today because it was going back to its home depot, its home base in Owasso, Michigan, which is actually where you can buy tickets every Christmas and you get to have a Polar Express like situation. And it's really expensive. But we got to do it with my oldest son a couple years ago, and it was so fun. It was right after COVID. One of the groups that got to go, and we had our masks on and everything. That was the only way we could go, but we had such a fun night. Oh, thank you, Sue. Hopefully, that's what I try. That's what's funny. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. They're like, it was another creator, and she said, "How come how come you don't get trolls in your chat? And I was like, you know what? I said, I do, but I end up becoming friends with them, or we're all like, everybody in my chat is nice to them. We don't like tear them apart. And then all of a sudden, a lot of times they end up becoming one of our buddies, or at least for that night. They may not be, hanging out with us every night, but, well, thank you. Thank you. Most days. Now, some days, I can be a little, everybody can, but, oh no, Untamable. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Prayers for your friend. Okay, now, this last video was very quiet. I'm about to play this video. Please, please, please know that it's 2 steam trains pulling, there's a train pulling the Pierre Marquette, because there were only, I believe, there was only one person operating the Pierre Marquette, and it has to have 3 people to operate on its own on the rails. So they had another train that had full crew on it, pulling it back to Owasso. So, but this is going to be loud, so brace yourself. We have something really exciting happening in our town today. We have the 1225 Pierre Marquette, which is the real Polar Express train that's going to come through our little town today to head to its home station. So I thought you guys might like to enjoy this with me. Our whole town was out.
If you're not available, this will be an easy replay. We just heard the whistle down at the next crossing. So
it's cool, Truth.
Any minute now.
Yeah, to the right of me, there was a whole bunch of other people, and my oldest, who doesn't ever want to be on camera, was over videoing it.
And that's our historic depot there, which is actually a really cool story about a circus train crash that happened between this depot and the Durand depot that I'll have to tell someday.
And let me say, I said cool, and I thought about it later. It's not a cool story. A lot of people got hurt. A lot of animals got hurt. It's an interesting story about just how my town and the next town over connected, and how the railroads came through here, but how far we've come in safety when it comes to trains and railroad and just transportation in general from back at that time.
If you're new, I don't usually do train stuff. Normally we're true crime and beauty stuff, but can you hear it? But this is something that's really cool, and both my boys wanted to come see it, so.
And did you hear that little, I hear it? That's my littlest one. He was so excited. His little bluey Crocs on and everything.
Thought we'd share with you. Here it comes. Cover your ears. It's going to be loud.
Munchkin voice.
Any minute now.
That shaking was because he was jumping around. He was excited. We were sitting in the back of my car.
Oh, I hear it. Do you hear it? Oh. There's the first crossing. Here it comes. Are you ready?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Little guy's ready. There's another crossing. We're right in between 2 crossings. Here it comes. Cover your ears. It's going to be loud. Oh, boy. was, folks. That is the historic real 1225 Paraquet coming through our town. So we are in Michigan, in a little tiny town.
Here we go. So that was our fun. And sorry, I didn't want to speak. It was so loud. I thought I'm not going to try and speak during that. But that MILF. I was just in MILF. That's where I was Sunday for the baby shower. We went to a place called the Cooperage. I think that's what it was called. Does that sound familiar to you, Untamable? Oh, it is. It is so cute and tiny. Like, I think we have like, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the population. But we've got 4 elementary schools, 1 high school, one middle school, and that's it. And it was fun. And the thing that was cool is while we were on the ride, every crossing that we got to, there was someone that was in an old Chevy truck, one of the old farm trucks with the wood sides on it, and they had a Christmas tree hanging out the back of it, all lit up. And so we kept getting excited at every crossing to see. And he would, as soon as the train would pass, he'd blast it on to the next crossing and get there and cross. And we'd get to see him and wave to him again. And it was just so neat. Oh, downtown Milford is beautiful. I told Driver, I'm like, we need to go there for like a date night sometime. There's a really good Italian restaurant down there too that is just absolutely yummy. And Sault Ste. Marie. Oh, I love Sault Ste. Marie. I've been there a few times. I love it up there. I've told Truth many stories about the UP and how beautiful it is up there. And I remember the very first time I went up there, we were going on the Sulaks tour. And yes, she spelled it right. It's pronounced Sault Ste. Marie. But we're going to have to do that because I've got some Michiganders in here. We are going to have to do a Michigan pronunciation game one of these days, you guys, and see if we can get some of our out-of-staters to pronounce some of our cities, because that would be hilarious, because everything is named after Native Americans. And like around here, it was like there was a lot of French influences too, so no one can pronounce anything. And Mackinac is spelled 2 different ways. There's Mackinac AC, Mackinac AW at the end. Kalamazoo, yep. Kalamazoo. I was there not too long ago too. We used to go there for softball tournaments. And Driver's from that side of the state. He's actually from Grand Rapids. So, and I'm the whole other way on the other side of the state by the thumb. So, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. My grandfather was a writer for the Detroit News, and my granny test drove cars for GM Proving Grounds. That is really cool. We live near Flint, so we've got all of the engineers out here. Yes. Or Mayo. There's actually a song about Mayo. Me, oh, Mayo. And literally Mayo, like, you sneeze and you're through it. Like, it's that tiny. You're way far away from us, Truth. Yeah, there's paradise, there's hell. We actually, when people say when hell freezes over, we can actually like pinpoint the day that happens. That actually happens in Michigan once a year. Hell freezes over. Well, and we live not too far from Frankenmuth, which is Christmas town in Germantown, USA, pretty much. I mean, I have family that would travel all over from all over the United States just to go to Bronner's. It is the biggest Christmas store in the world. And oh my gosh, Driver's never been there. The last time we were going to go, I had been doing a fundraiser for the Scouts all day. And we decided to go afterwards, and we got in the parking lot, and like, have you ever been like on your feet all day and then you sit down for a little bit and then you try to get back up and your body's like, nope. That was my body. I'm like, I can't do this. We can't do this today. And then we ended up, I don't remember what happened. I remember what happened. We had Jack. We had our little guy. We had our youngest son. That's what happened. That's why we hadn't gone back. Because then, the vid happened, all that stuff. But I do too. I love going to eat there. I want to take him to, I'm not sure which Zenders or the Bavarian Inn, but I want to take him for one of the famous chicken dinners. And because he was all excited the other day because I said they had buttered noodles. He's like, they have buttered noodles? I'm like, yeah. This is and the glockenspiel. You sit and you wait for the little boy and girl to come out, and it's just a really cool place. And I want to take him also to the Snow Fest down there when they do all the ice carvings, but our winters have been so wonky that it hasn't been worth it. And oh my gosh, and I want to go downstairs in the shops and they serve a cheese and cracker platter. Like this meal, you get everything you could imagine, okay? It's family style, but they bring you a giant plate of chicken, a giant plate of giant bowl of, and all of it's refillable. Mashed potatoes, buttered noodles, stuffing. You get like green beans and ham. You get, I'm trying to think of what else is on there. Oh, you get this big cheese platter, and it's got all these really yummy cheeses, and it's also got some liver pate, which I did not ever think I would ever eat, because I will not go near liver at all, but I will eat their liver pate. And I have a friend who knows how to make it, and you can have the recipe, it doesn't matter. Stacy has to make the liver pate, or else it doesn't taste like Frankenmuth. But the cheese that they put on that cheese platter, it's that garden vegetable spread. Oh my gosh, and the chicken seasoning that you can get down at the shops. I want to go there so bad. So that's going to be one of our day trips. And see, I didn't know what it was, Untamable, because if I had known what it was, I never would have tried it. But it was actually really good. See, my dad would have eaten it like that with a bun with some. My dad loved liver and onions. He loved all that. But yeah, I didn't know what it was, and I tasted it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is good. What is this?" And my ex-father-in-law told me, and I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "But you know what? It's good." I'm like that too. Like, I don't know if any of you guys are Molly Golightly fans. Like, we were on there one day, and she was asking me and another girl that were from Michigan, about like the hunters and about like eating like game meat and stuff like that. And I am not big on venison. It's just a taste preference. I've had it a couple of times, prepared different ways, and I just wasn't a fan of the taste. I'm same with buffalo. I've tried that. I wasn't a real big fan of buffalo. And well, so you can imagine when I told Molly that I had eaten moose before and I liked it. And she flipped out. She's like, "Are you kidding me right now? Moose? Moose?" I know. I miss my buddy on here. And she doesn't have a channel also. She can't even watch it, like make fun of me now. So like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? But she freaked out. She's like, "You ate moose?" But again, I didn't know what it was. My ex-husband and his family were really big hunters, and some of his cousins and stuff would go on like these big game hunts. And one of his cousins went on one and caught a moose. And it was like, and he actually lived in Alaska. So it was it was pretty hard, I guess, to get a license to get a tag, I think they call it, to be able to get a moose. But my brother-in-law was stationed in Alaska. So he and my sister-in-law came to visit, and he brought a bunch of food and stuff with him. And he said the one night, let me guys make you a really good roast. You'll love it. And so we said, okay. And he made this roast. And okay, yeah, they were, I'm trying to think of where they were. He was Air Force, so he was in the Air Force base. They lived on the Air Force base there. And so he cooked this roast in a crock pot all day with Wilson. Yes, that sounds familiar. With mushrooms, onions, carrots, celery, and like some really good beef broth. Which one is near, it would be closest to Anchorage? Because Ilson. Oh, I see. It just spelled right. I probably auto-corrected. Okay. Because that sounds from like Ilson. He was there. Let me see. Got married 2002. It would have been early 2000s and like the late 90s that he was there, because that's where he ended up retiring from. Ilson. Okay. Thank you. That was a good way to show me how to pronounce it. And he ended up, I think the last year, well, she used to fly into, maybe she flew into Anchorage because it was cheaper flights or something. I don't know. And it could just be that I'm absolutely completely wrong, because it's been 20 some years, so my brain's a little, but, and then he ended up getting transferred to Arizona for his last year in service. And that's where he retired from, was in, they lived in El Mirage. I think it was. They lived in El Mirage. And then now, about 5 years ago, they ended up moving out here because her father, now I'm going to have to ask, I'll ask my ex-husband tomorrow when he comes over to pick up my son, because now that's going to bug me. Yeah. From here, we get a lot of hunters. Yeah, that go, that's, my ex-husband's other cousin did elk hunts. And I think, was that you, Untamable, that said something about antelope? Like, I never got to taste the elk. He talked about wanting to do an antelope hunt too. But that's where they did the big elk hunts, was in Canada. And that was, easier back then. I wonder if you don't hear about a lot of people doing it as much anymore. And I wonder if it's because, it's harder to get across the border now. But, oh my gosh. Oh, that's awesome. Well, not awesome, but I mean, awesome that you have traveled so much. Not awesome that you were near Epstein Island. Yeah. That's a two-parter answer for that. Oh, but so this roast, and he put some kind of like really good rich beef broth in it. Cooked it all day. And I am telling you what, I cleaned my plate. It was the best roast I'd ever had. It tasted like the best aged beef I've ever tasted in my life. And after I got done, he said, you just ate ate a moose, ate a bullwinkle, I think is what they said. It's like, oh my gosh. That just wowed me. And that's the truth. You said earlier that you could cook it and I would never know it wasn't beef. And that may be completely it, is that I just didn't have it cooked right, because that was what I didn't like about it, is it had that gamey taste to it, that kind of coppery, and it just, I've got real sensitive, or I used to, I probably don't so much anymore, but I've heard the antelope is really good. Now I have tried, and this was in jerky form. Alligator, didn't like it. I tried kangaroo, did not like that either. Blech. I'm trying to think of what else. It was rattlesnake jerky. I didn't like that. Now the buffalo jerky was not bad. And oh, I know, it was some kind of wild bird jerky that did not turn out real well. It was something that driver had ordered from some big game website, and no, I know what it was. It's up. That was the other one. That was the biltong. There's a store up north. It's on the way. It's just outside of West Branch. And they're like called like the jerky outlet or something like that. And the entire store is just meats. It's like game meats and jerkies. And so he went and they had a big sale. When we used to go to camp up near Skidway Lake for the boys, we would always stop there on our way there because you have to have beef jerky to sit around a campfire. It's like a law in Michigan. And then on our way back, we'd get a big stash for coming home. And they also sold a huge quantity there's a company in Michigan called Dearborn Meats that, oh my gosh, literally, and you can have these, you can order them online and have them delivered to your house. Their spiral hams are some of the best. Well, all their hams. Dearborn hams are some of the best hams in the world. There was, that soaking that in meat, in milk. I was watching something earlier today. It's funny you say that because I can't remember what they were cooking, and that's what they did. They were doing that to help tenderize it too. To soak it in the meat, in the milk. Yeah, okay, yeah, see, Jinx Truth. What was I watching? Shoot. See, I watch too much stuff. I get going doing stuff, and I start watching something, and then I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So, imagine that. But, oh, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear some of your stories from some of the places you live one of these nights, too, definitely. We'll have to do a Saturday night sister talk thing on here one of these nights if you're willing. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was total like newbie when it came to all those meats, but driver's like, he'll try anything pretty much. So I ended up saying nope. I went back to my what are they called? They're called Hunter Sausage. They're from that Dearborn Meats. I really like them. They got spicy ones. And so I was happy as a clam riding back in my car with my bag of Hunter Sausage and my big Coke in the cup holder. And the fun thing was the boys never wanted to ride with me on the way home. They wanted to ride with driver because he's played better music and he was more fun and whatever, and it's not mom, whatever. So I got to ride in my car all the way home by myself. So I was blasting my music, eating my sausage, just having a grand old time. I had to act disappointed, like, oh, all right. And I get in there and crank up my music and oh, I will for sure. Maybe we'll figure out something this summer. We can, well, you know what? If I could get her, that's what I got to do. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, it was an awesome ride. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Just a second. They're asking me if I'm a human. Do a captcha. Captcha. This is, in case anyone is interested, it won't be clickable in vertical. I don't. Or maybe it will. Maybe it's horizontal. One of them it's not clickable. But excuse me. Oh, and Bear is locked out of all of his accounts apparently. But that is a Discord link. So maybe I can even get her on there and we can do like a voice call one of these nights. Get her in there. Oh, see, that's my speakers in my speakers in my car. In the mom car. Stink. They're horrible. Hi, Bear. I just opened up my Discord to try and get the right link. And I just saw that you said you were locked out. I'm sorry you got locked out of all your accounts. That stinks. See? That's proof that it's not just old people like me that do that. Oh, definitely. We'll figure something out like that. Yeah. Like I said, once I get summer vacation, I should have a little bit more like swing time, that I'll have and from what we know, from what we've heard from GM, because that's who driver delivers for, is they're going to be working Saturdays until further notice. But I also know that there's usually like a shutdown that comes at the beginning of the summer too. So I'll definitely have easier time on Saturday nights if he's home. But no, we will definitely figure something out like that. So that'll be fun. We'll have an interview with Untamable one night. We are still planning our paint and crime. Write them down, Bear. That's what I do. I write them down. I have to. Oh, not right now. In the future. We will make sure that we let everyone know when we do it, because I think that'd be a fun Saturday night. Ouch. Bear. Oh, that one. Crack me up. But I will post that. I think that's because what's happening is when I put it up, I'm getting like other people. They're showing that I need to invite them. But said I'll figure it out one way or another. I just downloaded the app, so I don't know if I did the right thing. Hopefully I did. We'll find out, right? Oh, absolutely. There's that. So, and I'll do it right now because I don't trust myself. Let's go here and here. Close that out. Go to post. And if I can spell. So there, I think I got it right. It is. I know. It's because okay, it's not my fault. I have 3 fingers that still have acrylic on them. Yeah, this keyboard was like, I know, right? Well, part of it too, I'm on a plastic top desk, so that doesn't help. But I do want to get a new keyboard. I had my old keyboard. I loved it so much. You could just it just had better flow. It was one of those ergonomic, curved ones too. So I like that. But it also, I still have acrylic on 3 of my fingers. And so I think that's what it's like. I'm hitting for short fingernails when I actually have longer fingernails on those 2 fingers. I'm a hot mess over here. Okay. Well, it's just even that, just touching it, my keyboard, oh, that's probably why it was up on the edge of my mouse pad. So it was whacking the table every time I was typing. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. I'll have to do a calm ASMR stream one of these nights. I have my good keyboard. Exactly. Exactly true. Well, I don't see, that's what I'm gonna have to do one of these. I'm gonna have to do it during the day. Probably on one of the nail days when I'm just kind of messing around. I don't know why. Because I thought maybe I'd give everybody's ears a break for a minute. But I need to get my microphone set up. But when I was trying to do it by myself, I couldn't hear if anyone could hear me on the video. And when I was trying to do it on a stream, it was a video where nobody was talking. I'm like, hello, nobody there. Okay, come out of the bushes for 1 second and just wave at me so I know you can hear me something, But so I've got to figure that out. But because it's cool. It lights up different colors. It's purple. It has noise cancellation, so you might not be able to hear King Bigfoot upstairs from me. And oh man. Well, and I think I notice when there's StreamYard too, it seems like there's a lag. When somebody types something, and then it even does it with me when I try to click, it'll take a minute for it to show up, post or whatever. So part of that might be me too. So, but all right, you guys, it is midnight. I'm almost at 2 hours. I was planning on being on here for an hour, but I like talking to you guys. So, so thank you very much for coming in and going over some of the Murdaugh stuff with me. And like I said, we are still going to be following Lynette Hooker because we're not going to let her be forgotten. And we're not going to take the heat off Brian Hooker. No, siree, it's not going to happen. So he can hide, he can do whatever he wants, but Ashley and the Coast Guard are coming for you, Brian. So, and you took a Michigan girl and you hurt her. You took her life and you're going to pay for it now. You're going to pay for it with the law. So, especially we got Untamable on your behind also. So you better watch yourself, Brian. Because one thing that you apparently didn't realize is how resilient and tough and angry Michigan women can get, especially when we're just coming out of winter. So, FAFO, Brian Hooker. I'm saying we might have to make a little trip over to Grand Rapids. Hello. We will, though, not be a JLR, I promise. But yeah, so thank you. And again, if anyone in here is new tonight, please hit that subscribe button for me and the notification bell so you know when we go live, so you can come back and hang out with us and talk. We talk about everything. We talk about nails. We talk about self-care. We talk about true crime, current and cold. And please hit that thumbs up. Give that thumbs up button a nice little claw. and help me out. I'm still trying to grow my channel, and every little click helps, every view, every thumbs up, every subscription helps me get out in that algorithm and get more people to see me, and not only see me, but see my business. And like I said, tomorrow is Website Wednesday. So I am going to go back to mixing my potions and creations, and I will have those up and ready for you guys. So we've got new scents this year, new flavors for the lip scrubs. And yeah, maybe I can do that tomorrow too, do a little demonstration with some of the scrubs and stuff, so you can actually see what's going on. So all right, everybody, have an awesome night and sleep well, sweet dreams, and I will see you tomorrow. Oh, thanks, Truth. Thank you. So peace, love, and claws, y'all. Mwah, 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 mwah. Good night. Yeah, right? Good night.